Welcome! This tutorial will be the foundation of the streamlined CNC fabrication workflow introduced in succeeding parts. All individual succeeding tutorial parts rely on the steps covered in this tutorial having been satisfactorily achieved. These three are simple enough: obtaining educational access for Fusion 360, the CAM software that we use, downloading a tool library to be imported in Fusion 360, and downloading a post processor so that we can properly export the toolpaths to the machine. Let's begin with obtaining educational access for Fusion 360. Go to autodesk.com, sign in. If you do have an Autodesk account, sign in with your credentials. If you don't, then create an account. Since we already have an Autodesk account, let's go back here and sign in with it. Click Next, enter your password. Now, being properly logged in, what we need to do is to go to Products, and then we'll need to go to Educational Access. And here you click Get Products. Here press Get Educational Access to proceed. For us it says Restart Access instead of the previous one, so we can click here. Signing up for Educational Access, you make sure that the school information is correct and that the name of the school is input like this. The school website should be input like this. And here it is important because the enrollment information, of course, if one is in year one might not know exactly when one graduates, but input something that is reasonable. You will have to reapply for educational access each year, so each year you will get an opportunity to fine-tune the expected graduation date depending on parental leaves and sabbaticals and internships. To be clear here, this specific user is not eligible, so we will not be able to continue here. But if you input a graduation date, perhaps in June 28, and if this information would be accurate, then you check this box, and then you can click Continue to actually verify your educational status. Autodesk will do this directly with the KTH service, so it should be straightforward. Having verified your educational status, make sure to submit to actually get 1 year of educational access. When your educational access has been granted, you will be greeted by this pop-up, "You're confirmed." And then you can simply click Get Autodesk Software. You can also reach this by going to Products, Educational Access, and Get Products. And then when you scroll down here, you see Fusion. Fusion was previously called Fusion 360, but Fusion 360 creates sort of like a drawl or slur in the middle, so it's understandable why they changed it to simply Fusion. I still say Fusion 360 out of habit. And as it says here, you will have to continue for access, and then you install the Autodesk Fusion 360 installer. And it's a little finicky with the management of licenses for Autodesk. You will actually have to physically click Get Products to be able to access. And when you have access, then behind the scenes, your specific account has been granted a specific license for Fusion 360. It is not possible to, having been granted educational access, to simply use a colleague's installer. You will have to first access through the educational access, Get Products, and then Get Product here. And then when you click Access, this specific program will be specifically activated for your educational access. Installing Fusion 360 is very simple. You simply double-click the Fusion 360 installer. We already have the latest version of Fusion 360 installed, so we will not install it again, so to say, but the installation process should be very simple. So when you have it properly installed, you can start it for the first time. Starting Fusion 360 for the first time, you will be requested to create a team. This might be a little confounding, but it's nothing to take too seriously. Your team can have any name. The whole team's functionality in the educational license is a little hampered or restricted, so while it's mandatory, it's not something to be taken too seriously. It is not something that will influence your user experience being enrolled in the educational access program. The data panel to the left you can enable and disable by clicking the 9 squares here. In Fusion 360, projects are your parent folders, and projects can have subfolders. So here we have the project folder, and in here we can create new folders which will be subdirectories. It's in either these project folders or in a subfolder that you upload exported files for CAM preparations. Having obtained educational access for Fusion 360 as well as downloading and installing the program, let's make sure that we download and import the tool library and then the post processor that we will be using. Go to your preferred web browser, go to CNC, Computer Numerical Control, .kthcnc.se. It's simply a URL to a Google Drive. In the Fusion 360 folder, enter the Tool Library subfolder. Here we have two files that are suffixed as .tools. We have the Multicam 3000 series tool library and the much more rudimentary Workpiece CNC tool library. We can download and import both, but take good notice that the tools for the large machine and the tools for the small machine are not interchangeable. The large machine uses specific collets with a metric standard, and a smaller machine uses an entirely different type of collets with an imperial standard, predominantly. Feel free to download both. Being in this Google Drive, let's go up one directory and go to Post Processor. And here there are two. For the large machine, make sure that you use the one that is suffixed with -Alexander, because that one has been revised to have the correct unit for the machine feed rate. While the large machine uses a language or a flavor of G-code that is specific to multicam CNC machines, the Workpiece CNC machine uses a more generic language, Garble, thus the less specific name for it. Feel free to download any or both of these post processors. Great! Now we have downloaded both tool libraries and both post processors. Let's go back to Fusion 360. In Fusion 360, change the workspace by clicking the Design button here and go to Manufacture. It's okay that it's an empty document. Go to Manage and Manage Tool Library. You can simply right mouse and click the local folder here and then Import Libraries. And then you can go to the folder where you have your downloaded tool libraries. It's good to note that when you import these, holding Control to select several and open, and these are properly imported here, they will be independently stored in Fusion 360. So it's entirely okay to now delete these two, should you want. Now we have properly imported the two libraries here. One should take note that while the Multicam 3000 series is a complete tool library, consisting of all of the tools that we use with the machine, also including some tools which are decommissioned due to being damaged or too large, etc. The decommissioned tools have no tool holder number before the cutting diameter, while all tools that are available for use have a specific tool holder suitable for its shank diameter. The Workpiece CNC tool library is much more restricted than there are actually tools. But using the smaller Workpiece CNC machine is a much more hands-on process and should entail also making sure that you have a tool in the tool library that reflects the actual tool that you're going to use. Having both tool libraries properly imported, let's go to the Post Processor library. Click Manage, go to Post Processor library. In here you will have to go to My Post Local to be able to click this import button. And then you can import one of these, one at a time, and import the other one as well. And then one super important thing is that you do not click this icon here, because that will update the specific branch of Post Processor to the latest available version. And that would mean that the newer publicly available version would overwrite specific changes made so as to be able to use it for the specific machine that you're going to use. So make sure not to click this button. If you accidentally click it, you will still get a confirmation prompt. Make sure that you do not update the post. Use it as downloaded from the Google Drive. Great! With these two post processors properly imported, we can close the post processor library. Well done! Having obtained educational access to Fusion 360, downloaded and imported both the two libraries and the post processors, you are now ready to proceed with the succeeding individual branches of the tutorial series. Thank you for your time.